Did you know elephants are the only mammal that can't jump because they don't need to?
I mean, look, hey,
I didn't know that was actual until I read that just now.
if they did, it will cause an earthquake.
Bro, I would love to know that. I think it'd be great to know that elephants knew that they needed to for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Right? But the fact that they know that, yeah, we don't need to do this, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Playbook Podcast. I'm Prescott Kelly. I got LaShawn Brown with me today. Yo, what's going on, my man? How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. It's football, playoff Sunday. Wild card weekend. Let's see if something happens.
So, I want to get your perspective on yesterday's games, right? Because yesterday's games were weird. So, I'm already 0 for 2. So, if you follow my betting line, you're already losing money. And I'm sorry for that. But I can't. Going off of what I thought would happen, I feel like I was right because I had the Chargers minus 2.5, and I had the Steelers plus 10.5. There was no Zay Flowers. I feel like I didn't realize that Justin Herbert was going to do Justin Herbert things. What did you kind of get? What did you kind of get from yesterday's playoff games? And we'll go to other things going forward.
Hey, we got to have a conversation about Justin Herbert because he's 0 for 2 in the playoffs now, and he has looked very, very pedestrian, especially yesterday. I mean, I get it.
You are being
interceptions
so
went off receivers'
polite.
hands, but you're up 6-0. You have the ball, and you kept giving the Texans opportunities to catch up, and it did right there before the end of the first half. So everybody's going to blame that he doesn't have the receivers or the offensive line let him down. I'm like, nah. He missed some throws that he's going to want to have back. And with the Steelers, I thought they'd just come out and just play Steelers football, try to ground and pound and muck up the game. No, Lamar went, 95 yards on his first drive for a touchdown. I'm just like, yeah, put him to bed. He put him to bed early. It was just bad. And TJ Watt, there's no reason for you to be in the top 3 running for Defensive Player of the Year. The last 3-4 games, you haven't registered a sack. Well, a stat, I'll say that. Like, that's not good.
Yeah, but you're also a Browns fan. So
yeah, I am.
There's going to be some hatred behind that.
If it was Miles would have got the same treatment. Like, he didn't register a sack against the Texans last year. I buried him for it because I'm like, you're the quote-unquote Defensive Player of the Year. You got to make the plays. You got to get those stops. And he didn't.
Well, the reason why I think that you're not good, like, okay, you personally, you may get that heat. Only because, Browns fan. Like, that kind of comes with the territory. But I think that most fans are not going to think about that because they're like, when you do word association with pressure and name recognition, it's Watt.
Yep.
It's JJ and TJ.
Yep.
And I don't know, man. Like I understand where you're coming from because it is something where like Myles Garrett is, to me, Myles Garrett off the edge is indisputably, I won't say the best, but like the top 3. He's like nobody is gonna be.
You gotta double and check
every single time. It's stupid, man.
Yep.
But like with TJ, so, and this is why I want to give. I don't want to say I want to give the Ravens credit, but Cam Hayward, if I remember correctly, Cam Hayward went out early in the second half, and then so did TJ. So the running game was just going to get exponentially better, but they were already up like 14-0.
It was 21-0, and I'm just like,
yeah.
past the 6 is man rules right there. Like the Ravens could have did whatever they wanted for real. If they wanted to put up a 40 burger, they could have, but they took their foot up off the gas.
And you know what? That's very respectable of Mr. Harbaugh. But see, that's kind of the thing is that if, and we'll go on this tangent for a moment, is if Baltimore just continue to put the foot to the gas and beat the brakes off them, it would be, well, what's the point? Like, why would you do that? But if they let Pittsburgh back in, which they kind of did,
they kind of did.
Then all of a sudden it's like, well, why?
What are you doing?
Right. It's all circumstantial, and it's all based on the like as a fan, what is important to you? Is sportsmanship important, or is it no, bro? We here to step on your mother neck. Like, which one is it? So, as far as that game between Pittsburgh and Baltimore going forward, obviously Baltimore won. Do you think that is like the legitimate driving force in the AFC? Or do you think that it's probably KFC? I almost say KFC. His finger looking good, bro. Is it KC? Is it Buffalo? Is it Baltimore? What do you think?
Yeah.
From what you saw yesterday, what is your who do you think is like the real
deal right now?
The real deal Holyfield, yeah.
And my brackets, in 2 out of 3, I got the Ravens going to the Super Bowl. One of them I do have them win. The other one I have the Eagles winning. So
you have the Eagles going to the Super Bowl regardless.
Yes. And,
I did too. All right, so I had them going to the Super Bowl before the season started, which seemed
same.
Oh, you did?
I had in my original. Before the season started, I had the Jets versus the Eagles. So I'm sticking.
Did you say the Jets versus the Eagles?
Yes.
All right. Look. I am not here to pass judgment. I love you more than anybody that I've never actually met in person in my entire life. So, with you saying that.
I was expecting
I really don't have any words, but
I was expecting that defense to be top 3 in the league. Rodgers being vintage Rodgers, not being he was a turnover machine this year, and pretty much he lost the locker room. So, and their head coach got fired in the middle of the season. So. Everything went down.
It wasn't even the middle. It was week 4 or 5?
Week 4 or 5, yeah. So
which
that's
is
about a month into the season.
I think that. So this is something that nobody really agrees with me with, but I think if we're doing a cross parallel, is like you thought that the Jets would be good this year, and some people thought that Aaron Rodgers would be good this year. And my cross-pollination is there's a lot of people who think that Aaron Rodgers should get another deal. And look, preaching the choir, bro. There's that. But people think that Kirk Cousins being cut is going to have a huge market. And I don't understand it. Do you think that he will?
Nope.
Because I think that the only reason why I think that he could is because he's cut is somebody else is paying a majority of the salary.
The Falcons are going to be paying majority of that contract.
Right. But you paying, even if it's $2 million, I need to get yours because, bro, I'm so upset about. I'm not upset, but I'm pissed off about people's thought process. What do you think about all of that?
Kirk is going to be a free agent. I think Aaron Rodgers will be a free agent. Geno Smith will be a free agent because I found out that he's going to get paid. If he's still up there on Seattle's roster, he's getting paid $45 million next season. So I'm like, no, they're moving on because they didn't make the playoffs, even though they had a winning record. But there's going to be some veteran quarterbacks, some starting veteran quarterbacks out there in the market. I don't think any three of them will break the bank. They'll probably get like a 1 or 2 year deal, probably like $10 to $15 million a year. So, but Kurt, if I had to put in an order, I would go Geno, Aaron, Kurt.
Do you think that Aaron actually goes to San Francisco?
They letting Purdy go?
It's crossed my mind, and the only reason why I think that maybe they will is because this might seem like it's a very short-sighted approach to this, but the NFL is also very short-sighted. They want to do things now. So I would say, do you think that Aaron Rodgers is better than Brock Purdy right now?
No.
And that, to me, I feel like that's a fair assessment. But there's also there's been a lot of memes going around. There's been a lot of stats going around where the stats. And this, to me, the stats don't matter.
It doesn't tell the whole story. It tells part of it.
Exactly, because I've seen that Aaron Rodgers had basically the exact same stat line as Josh Allen. It's different, bro. It's different. And for all the hate that I get for being a Bills fan and being a Josh Allen hater, what I am is I'm a Josh Allen realist. But what I saw, your yards don't dictate what matters in real football. I'm just tired of this conversation every day after day after day after day with these Neanderthals, bro. It's crazy.
You got to explain it to them, man.
And speaking of explaining to them, because we haven't really gotten anything yet, I know that you have some things you want to get off your chest when it comes to the Browns.
Yes, sir. For you revisionist history people up out here, that I can go back to 2021. Here it is, 2025. At the time when the Browns moved
you better tag everybody in this.
I wish I could.
We are 13 minutes and 30 seconds into this podcast, and we will tag all of you.
Yeah. At the time, everybody, even like everybody in local, national media, wanted the Browns to move on from Baker Mayfield. And that's what they did, because Baker at that time was not producing. He wasn't leading the team. He actually quit on the Browns because going into week 18, instead of him going out trying to fight for that last playoff spot, he took himself out the starting lineup and said, hey, I'm going to get shoulder surgery now. Like, who does that? You couldn't go out there for one more week, fight with your brothers, and give it a shot? No. So pretty much you slapped your own teammates in the face there. And then they move on to Deshaun Watson. At the time, Deshaun Watson was labeled as a top 7 quarterback. You do not get a top 7 quarterback label on the market.
And that is the thing that irritates me the most about fans, is that at the time he was being compared to Michael Jordan of fucking football. Oh, I probably should have done that, but I didn't. But that's what he's being compared to, dude. Like, he was that good at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Of course you make that trade. Of course you make that contract. It's
hindsight is 2020. He had 14 teams. He had 14 teams vying for his services at that time. He only met with 5 teams.
14 sounds low.
At that time, when the Texans had made him available for trade, It came out to be 14 teams. He met with what, 3 teams? The Browns, Carolina, and the Saints. No, and Atlanta. So when he met with those teams, all of those teams came to him. Well, they went to the Texans first, let him know what would the trade be. Then that's when it came down to the contract.
The Browns were the only one to give him the guarantee, though.
They were the only ones to give him the guaranteed contract. But this is the thing. Before they gave him that fully guaranteed contract, he eliminated Carolina. He eliminated the Browns. So it was down to the Saints and the Falcons. So I was just like, all right, the Browns are going to move on and probably draft the quarterback. All of a sudden, they give him that fully guaranteed contract. Now he's a Cleveland Brown. He goes into his first season with the Browns. He's suspended 11 games because of what he was doing off the field. And I do not take up for anything of that nature.
I put quotations and I shouldn't have because that happened. I shouldn't have done the alleged quotation because
he did
that thing happened.
Yeah, and he should be very fortunate because he escaped 2 charges from police. So I'm like, even though he's paying all of these women, he did it. I mean, he's very lucky, and he should be counting his lucky stars to be getting $230 million. So they go 3-3 his first season. He comes back his second season. He goes 5-1 before he breaks a rare bone in his shoulder. After that, I was already getting off that train. I'm like, if you break a rare bone in your throwing shoulder at that shoulder is cooked. You're not throwing out like he's not throwing what he used to throw. Comes back, from what I kept reading, like leading up into the season, the offense doesn't look good. Like I'm hearing from my guys, they're telling me.
Well,
hey,
Nick Chubb was also out for
a big part of it. Yeah. So to hear
but
that
he don't matter though.
Yeah. They don't. They still don't.
Not they don't. I'm talking about him specifically. He don't matter, bro. He matters when his value drops below 6,300 on DraftKings, and that's it.
Whew, that's a steep fall too, man. But he tears his Achilles, and now it was reported this past week that he tore it again. In my opinion, that's a career-ending injury right there. You don't have 2 Achilles injuries back-to-back like that. That's like all the sports medicine and everything. You're not rebounding from that, bro. I mean, just go ahead and retire.
So when it comes to LaShawn, or what you're talking about right now, as far as the rebound effect, there's enough medicine and enough money where he could, but does he want to? I think is the bigger drawing point. I tore my Achilles when I was 24. Not great. No surgery. Was able to recover, but I'll tell you what, right now, it was tough. But so if he wanted to come back, he could. But when we're talking about NFL salaries to quarterbacks versus what they were and what they're supposed to be, no, I'm not investing 60, 70, 80 at some point in time. $80 million is going to be
the standard.
Right. And I think it's going to be there within the next 7 years. I want to go as quick as the next 3 to 5. No, but in the next 7, I think $80 million could actually be
on the table.
On the table, at least. And it's not that I think that Deshaun Watson's going to get that, but do you think that he can recover from this? And because Cleveland's going to pay him regardless, right? They kind of have to, or do they not kind of have to?
Like right now, they kind of have to, but they're investigating about how this second tear happen.
Dude, we can't trust Mia Khalifa for anything.
No, it's not. It's not even that. It's his own. It's his own doing, though. It's his own doing. He's up there taking TikTok videos, and what is the one thing you don't see on his foot? A walking boot.
Ooh, so there's actual evidence of. Ooh,
It's his
I
own.
never knew that.
Like, if you're sitting up here, he's not broadcasting his rehabs or anything up in these TikToks. It's him with his girl. They're dancing and whatnot. You know, going up on these trips and everything.
See, like I'm not big on the tiki-takis, so
Yeah.
I don't really know what's going on.
So
extracurricular activities, if you
he's
will.
supposed to be rehabbing his ankle from the first surgery. Come to find out, when the Browns did their exit interviews, he came to the team and said, "Hey, I rolled my ankle, and I'm going to have to get a second surgery." So that's why, at the time, Andrew Berry announced up there at the exit interview for the team that Deshaun Watson might need another surgery. Everybody in the room thought, he was just bullshitting around. My apologies for that. Come to find out.
I told you, man. Everybody go, dude. I didn't even adhere to my own rule, so you're good. Everybody gets one, man.
So he comes out, tells the team. Now the team has to figure out, like, hey, what was you doing? He said that he was up there rehabbing and he rolled his ankle. So now the league, you could say the league, the Browns, and the players union, they have to do their due diligence here and investigate this, because if he's not doing what he was supposed to be doing, that contract is voided and he loses the rest of that money.
And I would imagine that you're probably okay.
I'm okay with that, but
voids with if he doesn't get any of that money.
It's his own fault. Like, why are you out here fooling around when you're supposed to be up here rehabbing your ankle, getting healthy so you can come back next season, so you can continue to try to play? But by him doing this, I think this is a clean getaway from him and from the Browns. They, walk away. I don't think Watson ever plays in the NFL again. I don't think no team would take on that baggage.
Well, and I want to piggyback on that for a second, because you and I kind of talked about Deontay Stallworth and Henry Ruggs. We'll get to that right now, but like what you're saying is, like, there's a really good chance that if his past wasn't so checkered, right? Like, if it wasn't so bad and so egregious, I feel like somebody might take a chance on him. But it's so bad, and you're supposed to be the CEO of the organization.
Yep.
I really don't know. And if they do, he's going to be like a fourth-string, third-string quarterback, man, if they even allow him to be in their building, because they don't trust him with anybody.
Bingo.
So, I mean, talent only gets you so far.
Yep. And once that talent is all gone, the team doesn't have anything left for you.
Well, and I think it's a really delicate thing, because, like, if you're crazy, super talented, you do have obviously a wider berth than others. Mm-hmm. And that kind of brings us to the Henry Ruggs situation, where you and I we haven't really talked about this, but we saw this post on the socials, and it's something that is obviously a very controversial talking point, I think, right now. Is Deontay Stallworth obviously ended somebody's life, and so did Henry Ruggs. But there was a child involved, there was other things. And for people to say that, I get it from everybody's perspective, because if Henry Ruggs was doing what he did like twice the miles per hour, but still had the same end result.
Yep.
And Deontay Stalwart still had, like you said, and I agree with, like, he still had an opportunity.
Yep.
Does Henry Ruggs get another opportunity? And I think that it's, if he doesn't get one, I understand, because the NFL has changed its proprietary, like it's changed its values, if you will. Like the
It's
shield doesn't
morals.
matter as much.
Yep. Exactly. It all
And
is who it is
right,
and
so
the
there's
team you're playing.
that. On top of the fact of, will they go more? Will they slant? Or will they slate more difficult on him? Because now the NFL want, and the NFL has always been really, 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 really terrible about this. They want to be reactionary and overreactionary. When it came to Henry Ruggs, well, sorry, I shouldn't say that, but the situations are very similar. And if the NFL truly wants to protect players, make it more safe. If you want to truly not let these guys get back in the NFL based on what they've done, then don't give them the opportunity. But you gave it to Ruggs, and that was only what, 4 years ago.
Yep.
You have to be consistent, and they're never consistent on this.
Because this is the thing. They come out with a ruling. It has to go through the players' union. The players' union has to agree to it. Let's say the players' union don't agree to it. Ruggs applies for the NFL to come back into the NFL. He has a lawyer. Hey, you guys not letting me back in. I'm going to sue you. And that's what this all comes down to. And 9 times out of 10, more than likely, Ruggs can win this case, because the league won't have a rule in this rule book about it. So they're going to probably be making up a rule as they go along. So either they come out with something right now to nip that in the bud, or else they're going to let that kid come back into the league. And to be honest, who's not to say that he doesn't go to a contending team when he comes back?
Well, I think what I really need to preface before things get really out of control, because I know that people aggregate things and don't listen, is we are not advocating for one thing or another. What we're
Yes.
doing is a comparison of one player doing one thing very similar and another player doing one thing very similar. This is not us condoning it. This is not us, like, I just need you guys to understand, because this thing does get thrown out of control real quickly.
Yep, because somebody will misconstrue our words.
Right. Exactly. So we're just comparing one instance to another. I just want that to be out there in the universe. God, because I do, like, I feel like, man, it's weird, because so Nick Wright always gets, like, he gets a bunch of for what he says, and people don't like it. I'm never gonna be him, but I'm starting to get to the point where people are aggregating my words and twisting them against me. I'm like, oh, that feels good to be famous, but also I don't like being here in that
Even
space.
after he comes out and says, hey, this is what I mean here, I'm not saying this, this, and this. But yet
Right.
people will still take that this, and this and misconstrue his words to label it as a narrative.
Well, it's not even just that. It's more just. So before we get to the next topic, though, I think the reason why Nick Wright gets as much hate, and everybody who's watching right now is instantly gonna bail out, because they hate that guy. I think what we're getting to is a point of journalists were supposed to be unbiased, right? Like Nick Wright, Stephen A. Smith.
Skip.
And we got to a point where we just kind of accepted it. And once we accepted it, it's like, oh no, you are open to the same criticism that we are. So that's kind of my biggest thing, is like, I don't think that Nick Wright is usually wrong on most of his takes, and most people are going to disagree with that. But I feel like he's usually pretty open-minded. But because he's so pro Chiefs, it
They hate
seems like
that.
he's uncredible, and I don't think
Mhm.
that's necessarily accurate.
He'll call a spade a spade. Like if a team comes out and beats the Chiefs, he's not gonna make excuses.
No, he's never done that, and that's why I'm here. Like I'm P Scott playbook podcast stupid Nick Wright enthusiast, I guess.
But you're right. Like he makes some good points. It's just people they hate honesty, but they hate that people side with, as I'll call it, like the Darth Vaders. Like anybody that
Wait,
side of Darth Vaders,
the what?
the evil empires, like the Patriots, the Chiefs,
Oh yeah,
Yankees, Lakers, Cowboys. So if you're signed with them, yes, there's going to be a lot of fans that's going to be against you.
there is that, but I really do think that most people are really getting in, like they're leaning into the lane of, if you're supposed to be a journalist, which they aren't, but if you're supposed to be somebody like who is giving your actual opinion, you shouldn't have your own allegiance to your own fan. And it's not like he's a homer. He's from Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that
And it's
I
not
will
like
tell you this.
he just jumped on Kansas City. Like he explains like the struggles leading up to Patrick Mahomes leading the Chiefs to the Super Bowl. So I'm like, I respect that.
Right. And I know that you're being very political with how you address that. And I appreciate that because I know like for me, when I see Nick Wright and I hear what he says, I'm kind of the same way, but I also understand that most sports fans don't want to have somebody who is biased. And he is biased, but also there's there's a lot of in truth behind what he says.
Yeah,
And
they hate that.
it's really difficult for me to hate on that.
You're exactly right. Absolutely right there.
Joe, we haven't gotten to anything yet. So moving on to yesterday's game, because we just been talking. We've been talking about Nick Wright. We've been talking about me being right, enforcing Nick Wright, and you enforcing me being right on Nick Wright. So yesterday was absolutely bananas. Everything that I thought I was going to see, I saw the complete opposite.
Yep.
I thought that the Chargers were going to be very aggressive on the offensive line, and they weren't.
They couldn't run the ball.
The thing for me personally, I was so absolutely infuriated was the first half. They were dominating in the trenches. They sacked they had 2 or 3 sacks on
Stroud
in the first half, and
Yep.
they automatically went to something completely different. Or so let me ask you this, actually, now that I'm here. There was 6 to what? 6 was it 6-0 at halftime?
It was 6-0 with 2 minutes left. The Texans had just got the ball.
Oh, that's right. Nico had that touchdown
right before the half. But this is the thing. Instead of them just sitting on the ball, being down 7-6 going into the half, they come out, they throw three straight plays because it's Justin. You want to give him the opportunity to, to lead them down the field. They go 3 and out. Now, CJ has a short field. He has a real short field. And he leads the Texans into field goal range. They're up 10-6 at half. And that's why I was just like, yeah, the Chargers just lost this game. They had 3-4 opportunities that first half to be up, I'll say like 2 or 3 touchdowns. And nah.
Well,
I don't know what Justin was on.
Yeah, because I had similar. So when it comes to the Pittsburgh and Ravens game, I have way different opinions because I didn't really watch that, but I had the opportunity to actually watch that Texans and Chargers game mostly. It felt the same way, man. Like it's 6-0, and the Chargers defensive line was obliterating,
killing them. You got both
just murdering their offensive line. And it felt like D'Amico Ryans was the better adjuster in the second half. Because I saw what was going on, and the Houston Texans, like, they were just murdering.
I'll say this. Will Anderson, that should be a name everybody should start recognizing going forward because he's a force on that defensive line for the Texans.
Well, there's that, but what I noticed personally was interior.
Oh yeah,
that center guard combo was getting absolutely exposed, and Danico Audrey was obliterating them on just
as a quarterback. That's I'll say this, that's 99% of quarterbacks' weaknesses is
right at the middle.
The pressure is directly in our face. We don't care about the edge. Like, more than likely, we think that the edge is going to be protected, but that pressure that comes up that the center guard got,
what you can actually see,
the ones that you can actually see, and then you got no room to step up, and it's ugly sometimes, and it knocks your timing off.
No, and I understand that completely, and it was just one of those things where watching in real time, where in the first half, it felt like the Chargers were just annihilating CJ Stroud. And he was. But then, all right, we got to get to these next games because these early games already started. So I'm sure you already watching them. But so when it comes to, before we go on to the next thing, when it comes to Justin Herbert, do you consider him a choker or what? To me, if we're giving everybody the same lane that we did, and also his offensive line played like absolute cheeks yesterday.
Quentin Johnson shouldn't be on the NFL team.
Thank you so much. He had 6 drops? He was terrible yesterday.
I had his props for 25 yards. He didn't even catch
He had 25 drops.
I'm like, why did I put my money on him?
Bro, he's cooked.
Super cooked, man.
But
yes, I will label Herbert as a playoff choker. Like, if we're gonna keep this same energy for these other quarterbacks that don't win playoff games, we got to do the same thing for Herbert. Like, I don't care about his intangibles, his arm strength, any of that. Can he win these playoff games? That's what this comes down to. Your legacy is known for playoff wins. Can you win these games against these other elite quarterbacks, or as I'll say, like top 10 quarterbacks? So he's 0 for 2 in the playoffs, and I looked up his touchdown to interception ratio. It is 3-8.
It's bad, but Lamar Jackson has. But see, this is why I don't really care about those things necessarily, is because like Lamar Jackson has a really, really bad touchdown to interception ratio, right?
And he has the opportunity to turn it around.
But see, this is why all this stuff is, 1, circumstantial, and 2, I don't really care, because if you put Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, all these guys who haven't won a Super Bowl, especially in the AFC, Justin Herbert, you put them all together. Statistically, Josh Allen is the best quarterback in that realm, right?
Yep.
in that 5-year window.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're dumbing it down to, does he have any MVPs? Nope. Has he been to a Super Bowl? No. We don't get just like pick and choose what you want, but it's also, if you're wrong, you better own when you're wrong, dog. Like this,
Yeah,
I'm really tired of this.
the AFC is a gauntlet, man. It's a
Well, for
gauntlet.
this is what I've noticed, and please tell me if I'm wrong on this. Is the AFC has the stronger quarterbacks, the NFC has the stronger skill position guys.
Like just you're saying receivers and running backs, right?
Yes.
Yes, I
Well,
agree.
yes.
I agree with that.
Quarterbacks and wide receivers and running backs. I feel like AFC has the
Yeah,
high tier
I
quarterbacks.
agree with that. I would agree with that.
So, and we have done no actual analysis, and these games have actually started already. So, that's why everyone's like, "Hey, football's going on, dog! Like, why the hell are we here?" So, I was really bad on the first 2 games because I did think that
Chargers would have
I
handled
thought the
business.
Chargers, yeah, and that was bad. So was who was second game? Oh, Pittsburgh, because I figured that Pittsburgh would at least be able to be up. I had a 10.5 point lead on that one, and
It was gone away in the first half.
Yeah. Well, I told people like stop trying to say all these number 1 wide receivers are number 1 wide receivers, because they're not. There's like 6 of them. Just because you're wide receiver 1 doesn't mean you're a number.
In offense doesn't mean that you're wide receiver 1. No,
Exactly.
Sometimes you're just out there doing cardio.
Shit, I'm so bad. So you got me messed up right now.
but it's the truth, man. Because
it's true. It's 100% accurate.
Like, is your wide receiver 1 demanding 10 plus targets a game? If not, you're not that guy. You're not that guy.
Right. If just because you're number 1 on the depth chart does not mean that you are a true X. I think there's maybe 6.
Yep. I mean, if you want to throw tight ends in there, you can. You could throw tight ends in there too.
Ooh, like McBride?
McBride is one. Kelsey, depending on the matchup.
Well, I mean, he's only got. This is the thing, and this okay. So I appreciate that you bring up Kelsey, because it's not going to be for much longer, right?
No, to be honest, I think this is his last run.
Yeah, he says he's got 2 more years left in him. I was like, bro, you're done.
You better listen to your body.
You better listen to your soon-to-be wife.
You gonna put a gazelle up on him?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, you either retire or else I'm gone.
That's
tough, man.
No, but as far as like we kind of went off on a tangent again, but I do feel like there really is. I'm tired of people telling me that, because I did a poll, who is a top 10 wide receiver, and I got 25 different answers.
Because a lot of those guys probably play fantasy football, man.
That's, I mean, I'm not saying that I don't, but if you only live in a fantasy world, you only get fantasy results.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right, bro.
But
my thinking is, I would say your wide receiver 1 has to demand a double team. If you're not getting that double, you're not that guy.
You just mentioned, because I don't watch a whole lot of college football, but you had mentioned about, is that Jeremiah Smith?
Mm-hmm.
Was that, he got clamped? Yeah, if you got 3 DBs on him all the goddamn time, he better get clamped
with the linebackers there, and I'm just like, yeah, I will hope that he's clamped, because then now you got his other teammates, his other wide receiver mates that's going off with them. So, all right, go ahead.
And see and that's why I get so concerned about certain teams going forward. Like in the AFC, again, I feel like the quarterback play is exponentially better than the NFC. But the NFC, I feel like, has better skill position players. And where the matchups are, you playing outdoors or are you playing indoors? I think that really legitimately matters.
Mm-hmm. You're right. It does matter. Like St. Brown, I'll say what 15? No, 14 out of the 17 games were indoors. So I mean, of course you're going to put up stats because you don't have to deal with the elements that much. So, but like a
This
Chase
sounds
or
like a this sounds like a bitter Browns fan
oh
having an
no,
outdoor stadium. I'm just playing with you, bros.
oh that's another. I'm gonna say that for the next episode. Thank you for bringing that up
Yes.
because
Yes.
I'm so tired of these old school. We got to play outside in the snow or play outside in the rain. All right, you go out there and you play in it. You tell me how you feel afterwards.
This is okay. So I don't want to get too much into this because you already said we want to say this for the next episode, and I agree with you. I live in Alaska where 90% of the time right now it's supposed to be -5. And
Mm-hmm.
it's 40 degrees. But it's 40 degrees with limited wind. And we're supposed to get 100-mile-an-hour winds. But the football, I guess, purist is the way to say it is, well, why don't you just play in the snow? Bro, you don't even want to go to work when
You
the
don't even
snow
want to
runs.
drive through
You
work,
motherfuckers gotta stop with this immediately. I hate the people who are so obsessed with athletes need to do something that they wouldn't do on their own.
Exactly, and then they'll say, "Hey, you're getting paid tons of money. You're here, so you should be able to do it." I'm like, it's not that easy, man. It really isn't. And like the offensive linemen, I feel for those guys because they're out there 60, 70 plays running to each other. So it's a
Yes,
bit,
you're
man.
getting into 70 car crashes every day. Well, you should just be okay with that. I'm with you, man. As somebody who's never played football in any capacity, my mom told me you can play kicker. And now that I'm looking back on it, I was really good at soccer. I was like, yo,
Oh man, she gave you your opportunity
I
there.
was like, you may have had a point. But in Alaska, no one's gonna know that I'm good at soccer or kicking
Yeah.
anyways. Nobody gives a shit. But I'm with you, man. Like it's just nobody really knows what these guys go through. And yes, the money to an extent helps, but it's also who's in your DMs? Who's telling you how bad you are at your job all the time? I don't get any of that, man. I make a good living, having a good job,
Mm-hmm.
and I do this on the side, and I have nobody in my mentions. But if you are somebody who's constantly ridiculing, saying you're trash, I'll go to your house.
And tell you that you're trash.
Not even just do that, but look, the most obvious one that I can think of is I remember Matt Schaub,
Oh yeah.
right? When he had like 6 straight games of 6 straight pick sixes, and people showed up at his house. I'm like, I would like to be famous enough to make money, but I don't want to be famous enough where you show up in my house and want to
Unannounced.
threat. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
want that.
That's dangerous right there now. Very,
Yeah,
very dangerous.
yeah, I'm not okay with that.
You
But
show up in
anyway,
my house unannounced.
yo,
There,
we about to have
yeah,
problems.
the
So we didn't
police
really
gotta
get
get
all
there.
right. So we got football going on, but I do want to get to this real quick with
All
Mike
right.
Tomlin because you are obviously a Browns fan in the AFC North. So this is something that I've been kind of contemplating for the last 4 or 5 years is when do we get rid of Mike Tomlin? Or can we? He's somebody where I've always perpetuated if who are you going to get who's better?
That's why I was going to say the same thing. Like, you get rid of him. Who are you going to have to come in to keep that locker room together? This man has been putting up since Big Ben left. He's been putting up with some broken parts, man.
Bro, even when he had Big Ben,
a broken Big Ben with a repaired elbow. I mean, I think they had went like three out of the 5 seasons. They won like 13 games. I mean, he just couldn't get over that Tom Brady hump. But who could?
yeah, but we'll see. And that is something that I've always, when it comes to the comparison of like LeBron versus Jordan, and I hate doing that because I see it on my timeline all the damn time, and I don't want to be that guy. But it's the same thing like with Peyton Manning. Could Phillip Rivers have gotten one? Could Roethlisberger have gotten more? We don't know, but we would imagine so. But man, like you're right. It's if you didn't have that complete block in front of you, could you have gotten more? And I think that he could have.
Yeah. And that's, in my opinion, Steelers fans, be careful what you ask for. Because if that man goes somewhere else, to be honest, I'm not going to lie. If Tomlin was fired, released, let go, whatever, if he's let go, what I'm afraid of is he goes to Dallas.
No.
And he turns Dallas around.
No.
All right.
Nope. Don't do that. No. Dallas is not allowed to have a competent head coach. LaShawn, stop it. I love you. Don't do this.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying it's right there.
Look, I know what you're saying, and the thought has also crossed my mind, but we can't speak that into the universe.
Because it's going to happen. Because if we bad.
Well, one, we're going to feel bad if Dallas actually gets him because it's like, oh, well, maybe they could be good.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't get that job, it's like, you know what? Good for you, Tomlin. you weren't supposed to have this anyways.
Yeah. That's why, because I seen, I'm like, they let him go. He goes somewhere else, and he instantly turns him into a Super Bowl contender. I'm like,
no. Look, man. The whole reason why we all exist is for we them boys.
Yeah, and
if he makes them boys, we have nothing else to make fun of.
And now the jokes go up out the window.
Well, or you can always still do the boy I love losing Super Bowls if the Bills make it to Super Bowl and don't lose or don't win. Then we have that joke again.
Don't you give up. Don't you give up on me.
I'm going to give up all the time, man. I can't. You don't have to give up if you never think it'll happen, man.
I hear you, bro.
All right, well, tell you what, these games are going on. We're 20 minutes into it.
Go ahead, give me a prediction.
All right, so when I locked these games in, I had the Bills. I did 2 parlays on 2 different things, but I had the Bills the Bills were minus 8.5. I took the Bills on top. I felt like Josh Allen would do Josh Allen things and those type of. He's just gonna do. I don't trust the Bills' defense, but he's gonna do what he does, right? Like, and the Denver offense is not great, so I went Buffalo minus 8.5 when I took this thing over. When it comes to the Eagles and
Packers,
I had the Eagles minus 4. I actually had the Eagles minus for 4 days ago because I didn't know who was going to be their quarterback. But if you're giving me -4, I feel like Jalen Hurts is going to be your quarterback. So I took
Took the
them
Eagles.
-4
Gotcha.
at that point in time. Tampa Bay and Washington, I took, again, I did 2 different parlays. I took Washington on the spread because they were 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
And I took Tampa on the money line on the other.
Gotcha.
And then what's the other game today? Because the Rams Vikings is going on
Tomorrow.
Monday.
Yep.
What's the other game that I'm missing?
No, that's it. Because you had 2 last night. You got 3.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We got 3 today, 2 yesterday, 1. All right. So what are your thoughts? What's going on with you?
I took Buffalo, but I took an
On the
alternate
money
spread
line or plus?
on the money line, but with the alternate spread of 6.5. So it's pretty much me buying points. Also,
That's a smart play actually,
yeah,
because Patrick Surtain is going to cut off
Cooper.
everybody.
Yeah. So that's why I'm hoping Josh can find the other weapons around the field. I took the Packers plus 4.5.
Ooh.
Took the Eagles on the money line. I mean, you see what I'm doing here.
You hedging.
Yeah, but I took Washington on the money line because I'm not a big fan of Tampa's defense. Like they benefited from facing rookie or bad quarterbacks down the stretch. So I think Jaden will figure it out, use his legs, and if he doesn't, I'm gonna go to JD. So go on his DM and let him know how I feel about his quarterback.
And honestly, like, this is one of the reasons why I feel that the NFL, like, it's kind of a back and forth. It's kind of a cat and mouse play.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you play poorly one year or one game, you might be poorly. That's why I don't trust Jordan Love at all, and I don't trust Sam Darnold at all.
We shouldn't.
And thank you. I appreciate that.
I watched him miss Justin Jefferson in the end zone 4 straight times.
So here's the thing, man, is that if Minnesota wins their game, there's going to be so many Sam Darnold defendants and so many like Vikings fans like, this is the guy, this is the guy, this is the guy. You shouldn't pay him $70 million at all, because that's going to be a thing down the line, right? Or the 60, 65, whatever. You shouldn't pay him, but you also shouldn't put your trust in JJ McCarthy either. The Vikings are going to be in the worst purgatory ever after January 18th?
Yeah. If
it's going to be terrible for them because they don't have a quarterback. They think they have a quarterback. They think they don't have a quarterback, but they think they could get the quarterback if they think that things work out. I wouldn't wish that on anybody, man. This is why I'm a Bills fan. Either we're great or we're trash, and I live in the expectation of both of those extremes.
Yep. Week to week.
It's not even week to week, bro. Like, I know we are. when we start seasons, I know exactly what we are. We either cheeks or we gonna be good.
Yeah. Whew, man, that's the thing, man. Like, the Vikings got the talent, they have the roster, but that quarterback, and like I keep trying to tell people, man, it's a quarterback league. Just because Darnold went off throughout the regular season doesn't mean that he's going to lead you to the promised land.
It's also 1 year, and when he bro, he in this. So I will say this going forward is he struggled against the Lions, who were like they were completely depleted.
It was a
Which
makeshift defense.
right, but and this is why I say the but is this is why, like you said, hedge your bets. There might be the chance where this is the rebound game.
Yeah,
I don't think it's what's going to happen, but maybe it is.
he better show something because if listen, I'm just letting you know now. Justin's already on my hit list. I'm waiting for the rest of these games to play out. I'll say what Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon. I'm gonna make a
Did
post
you
about
say
some
Justin's
quarterbacks.
on your hit list?
Yeah, he's on my hit list. This is
Justin Jefferson.
no Justin Herbert, quarterback.
Oh.
Listen, yeah, I could put him up there on my list too. If he comes out, he shits the bed. So you can't be labeled the best wide receiver in the league, and you know you're not getting enough targets and touches up there on offense.
Yeah,
Like
George Pickens does the exact same thing.
I hate that kid. I'm sorry.
I don't want to. I don't want to hate him. I really don't. But I kind of do.
He doesn't give you anything, man. His antics on the field, and I'm just like, you have all the talent in the world, man. Just keep your head on straight, kid.
But so real quick, and I know we said we'd hang this up like 40 minutes ago. We did. If you were George Pickens and your quarterbacks were Justin Fields, old ass Russell Wilson, and barely even competent Kenny Pickett, would you be happy either? Because I sure as hell wouldn't.
But I think it's like a Steelers theme. Like they get these crazy receivers and they look good temporarily, but then their real selves comes out eventually. And I think we're the real George Pickens here.
Well, so oh, man, we were supposed to hang this up. Now we got real conversations. So, what do you think is that a Steelers problem, or is that a? Because actually, not if we're talking about this in real time, it feels like the Steelers are so much ingrained into old school that they can't get past. Like it's not 1972 anymore.
Mm-hmm. Like they want to heavily depend on their defense.
The run game,
and
not run actual routes. We're just gonna run streaks or comebacks, and that's it.
That instant fail, because that's the type of playbook that is so easily to adjust to, like as a defense.
But do you think? Okay, so as a Browns fan, are you somewhat prejudiced towards that, or are you like? Because I'm somebody who doesn't. The AFC North means nothing to me. Are you worried? Do you think they can change it around? Because they've been doing this exact same thing for 60 years, man.
They can change it around. They just got to find their quarterback. Like, remember when Big Ben was there?
Is it the quarterback, or is it the quarterback, or is it the coach? Because they've had multiple quarterbacks. Justin, I saw this yesterday, and I didn't want to get too much into the weeds of this. But Justin Fields, and I thought about this because halftime they were struggling. Does Justin Fields get some reps? And they never did. What do you have to lose? They don't ever think.
That's a coach ego problem, because he wants to depend up there on Russ, because he's probably like, hey, Russ got me here. Let me ride him out until the Rose fall off.
But what's wild, what's wild is that Russ didn't get him there. Russ didn't get him there, though.
No,
he finished the last half of the season, but their record was better with Justin Fields than what it was with.
With Justin in there, they were more efficient. I said they were more efficient on offense with Justin in there. With Russ, it was like there was no play action crossing routes. There was only deep comebacks and flies. I'm just like, come on, Russ. That's not gonna help you here. Like
he's also like 36, 37, and that was a problem that I saw. Is like the only offense that Pittsburgh has is, hey, maybe we get 1 30-yard bomb to
Pickens.
Yeah, maybe we get that. Maybe we don't. And that was pretty much it. So it was.
And also, the offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith, I'm like, how did you get this job? I will never know. Like, you failed in Atlanta, so you come to Pittsburgh, and it's just like you didn't help them out at all. You might as well kept Kenny Pickett if that was the case.
That's kind of thing is like, I think that Pittsburgh has, and we'll go ahead and hang it up after this. Yeah, I think that Pittsburgh has a really, really big problem of wanting to keep the identity of its defense and run game. It's not the 70s and 80s anymore. Like, you have to progress at some point in time. You're always going to be good as long as you have a good head coach. And that was my whole thing with Tomlin is you're going to get 10 wins every single year. Cool. And then you're going to get your kicked, and then you're going to get booted in the first round every single year.
I seen a stat today that 28 teams have won a playoff game since Mike Tomlin won his last one.
Don't. But, man, Steelers fans don't want to hear that, dog. They don't. They just don't. Like, you and I understand it, and because you're a Browns fan, they certainly don't want to hear from you.
And of course not.
Me, yeah, exactly. But no,
I seen that stat. Not like I went back and I researched it, and it came out to be true. I'm like, fuck, I could not believe it. I could not believe that because I'm just like, everybody will label Mike Tomlin a top 3, top 5 head coach in the league, right?
But that's the whole thing is like, if we're talking current, I'll do it for me personally. Would I rather have Sean McDermott or Mike Tomlin? To me, it's a push.
Ooh, I'm shocked to hear that because I thought you would probably be like, "Hey, I'll take Tomlin."
No, well, I mean, like for me, to me, it's a push because I've seen what the Bills do and what they've done under him, and yes, they've exceeded a lot of expectations. But we talk about the quarterback position, right? Josh Allen's better than anybody that they've had in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And even as much as I like to dog the Bills, I'm not going to do that.
Gotcha.
So, but it's a real tough decision to make. But
that's the thing. Like, I can see, like I said, if Tomlin was fired today, I can see.
Oh, there's six teams knocking on his doorstep immediately.
Exactly. Immediately. Like, teams are going to call his agent like, hey, we'd love to have him in for an interview. And once they get that interview, who's not to say they let him out of there without him signing the contract?
Mark Cuban, but that's a different sport.
Yes. The good old memory there with DeAndre Jordan.
DeAndre Jordan, yeah. To think that DeAndre Jordan was the guy that you couldn't miss on. What a great time in sports history.
Yeah. Never heard of no stuff like that before.
Nobody hijacks an old center in basketball.
And the thing that made it so much funnier was Blake Griffin had took a picture of the door with the chair under the handle.
Right, like it was a DoorDash delivery.
Yeah.
And he goes, "You can't miss this, dog."
God, that was good. That was good.
Oh my God. What was that? That was what, 8 years ago?
Yeah.
Eight? Somewhere?
It was like 2016. Yeah. Summer 2016.
God, what a great time in American sports.
But yeah, if Tomlin was fired, teams would be knocking down his door.
All right, so before we hang it up for the fourth time, would you rather have Stefanski or Tomlin?
I'll take Tomlin.
Ooh, let me ask you this for me, for the Bills, would you rather have Stefanski, Tomlin, or McDermott?
For the Bills?
Yeah, just for fun.
I'll take McDermott because look at what
Really?
he's doing. Yeah. I think people don't want to give him credit, and I don't know why. I'm like, even before Josh got there, he led them to the playoffs. I'm like, that's a hell of a coaching job there.
There's so and you and I have kind of gone back and forth on this since like who's better. You took, and I'm not doing the Tyrod Taylor thing because I actually love Tyrod Taylor a lot, and I get a bunch of for loving him as much as I do. But that offensive weaponry was absolute trash. And the Bills got to the playoffs because of Sean McDermott, and I'm okay with it. But you know as well as I do as well that the socials, the actual media, is going to come to a point where should Sean McDermott get fired? And I've always been somebody where I've said no. But Bills fans hate they hate this man so much when they lose 2 games and love him when they win the division. And I can't stand Bills fans at all. I just can't.
The love-hate relationship, man. It's the instant gratification.
I want to fight everybody in the streets.
Can't do that. You got to pick and choose your battles, man.
I know that I can't. I'm just saying that I want to. I won't because I'm a lover, not a fighter. But I want to. It's so embedded in my heart. But I won't do it though.
Gotcha.
But we got football to watch.
Yeah, we do.
You're actually watching football. I'm watching you watching football.
I'm just in between plays. I'll sneak a little peek here and there. Bills down 7-3, but they're driving.
The Bills are down 7-3. So that was something that I put. All right. Nobody knows because nobody listens. Was it a rushing touchdown? Was it Mims?
That score? No.
Was it Bo Nix to Mims?
No, Troy Franklin.
Who the hell is?
It's a rookie. He was like a 4th round pick. Like I had Browns fans that wanted the team to draft him, and I'm like, nah.
No, I just, dude, I'm doing so well in 2 of my DraftKings labs. I just didn't need that.
Who do you have as your quarterback?
In which, well, one of them is completely done.
Okay.
Because I picked the dude. This isn't going in the podcast. I really don't give a damn. So last night I did a lineup with just the Chargers and Texans and Steelers,
Ravens.
Mm-hmm. and I won $25. Not a big deal.
No.
But right now,
James Cook just ran a touchdown in, so I hope you got him on your team.
Of course, that mother did.
You didn't put him in your lineup,
bro. So here's all right. So just hope. Just I'm not gonna win this lineup. I know I won't. But so I've got Matt Stafford,
Okay.
Saquon,
Mm-hmm.
McLaurin,
All right.
Hawkinson,
All right.
still to play. But I had the Chargers defense, which obviously
Ooh.
if I had the Texans, it would have been great.
You would have been in cash money if you had the Texans.
Yeah, for the 99 and the 2000s. but I had the Chargers who didn't disappoint. I had Likely who got me 8.3.
That's not bad for his value.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is like I got the Chargers and Likely. I had Henry. One of my leagues, the one that I replaced with the 2,500 or the $25 that I won with my, $5 input was I had McConkey.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, if you had McConkey, Jesus, he blew up. So and the one that I placed was just the 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones I got for the entire weekend is Chargers, Likely, Henry. Those 3 are already done.
Mm-hmm.
But I also have Hawkinson. Mims is playing. What was that?
I say he should eat.
I hope so. And then I got Mims, Shakir, McLaurin, Barkley, and Stafford, who haven't even played yet.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to at least place.
You should. It comes down to Stafford, man.
Well, and that's why I'm not worried about how this podcast even goes because we're not even doing a podcast anymore. We was hanging out, but and I don't want to hijack you from your day, but I do feel like for me, if I had McConkey, damn, things would have been different. But where would I have made up the difference though? Because McLaurin is 65 and he was 68. I don't know where I could make up the difference.
How much, did you have any left over at all? Like with your full lineup?
I had 100 left over on draft.
Oh, yeah. Because then now you will have to move like Mims down to try to find somebody for the minimum.
Right, exactly. And that was kind of my thing was that's why I placed McConkey in the 2-game set, but not in the 3 because I was like, oh, maybe McLaurin will do better because I thought that McConkey might get double as much. Like I don't know because Washington's offense is so weird.
Yeah, I thought Stingley would be up on McConkey. So,
bro, Stingley had what he had 1 pick.
Yeah, right? A pick and a fumble.
Dude, he was stupid good yesterday.
Top 5.
He was stupid good yesterday.
That's why, when I hear people talk about Sauce over Stingley, I'm like, I don't think you guys are watching the film, man. You guys
because Sauce had that's why I love talking to you. And not the casuals. And I'm not trying to say I know everything about everything, but it is something where well, Sauce Gardner is better than Stingley. Man, I don't know.
I see Stingley traveling with opposing
everywhere.
Teams.
Everybody's ex, he shuts it down.
I don't see Sauce doing that. Sauce stays on one side of the field.
Right. He wants to be on the right side of the field and then be able to look.
Yeah, play zone. Yeah. That doesn't do it for me. That's why I'm just like, are you guys watching the same film I'm watching? Because
well, you got all 22 though, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, all right. Well, I don't want to say that you're rude, but you're kind of flaunting things that us normies just don't have.
Because I get it every season. I'm just like, like my first thing, like when I get it, I want to see the quarterback play. I want to see what are they seeing and what am I missing.
Yeah.
So, and then that's when I'll dissect it. Then that's when I'll go to like the receivers. Then that's when I go to the DBs. So that's pretty much what I'm watching. Sometimes I might watch some offensive line play, but 9 times out of 10, I'm just like, nah, because I see a lot of guessing from this season. I saw a lot of guessing with the Browns offensive line.
Maybe I can block him. Maybe I can't.
Like I look at the Ohio State game where Jack Sawyer picked up the fumble Friday night. If that right tackle doesn't look inside, he can make that block on Jack. But by him instantly going inside, he got beat. And those are the little things, man. Those are the telltales that you gotta look at.
Yeah, I mean, again, as somebody who doesn't really watch a whole lot of college football, I am somebody who whatever I'm paying attention to, I pay attention to. So when you brought up the Ohio State thing, I didn't watch that game. Full disclosure. But as somebody who did watch that Chargers and Houston game, the interior offensive line for the Chargers was decimated in the second half. Like neither offensive line could do a thing.
Come on.
And that to me that just kind of further proves that congratulations, you won a playoff game, but you're not a real contender. Like there's 3 teams, right? There's 3. To me, it's KC, Baltimore, and Buffalo.
In the AFC?
In the AFC.
Okay.
Yes. Right, not collectively.
I thought you were saying 3 overalls. I'm like,
no. I have the Eagles actually being the representative for the NFC, and I think they might actually win this thing entirely.
Yeah, I think this is their season. They have the trenches that matters, man, on both sides of the ball.
The Eagles?
Yep. They have the best offensive line.
And then, I mean, we can't just say we got white DBs out there, but we do. We got Eagles, Jason Sehorn.
He's good, man. He is good. I hate to say it. He's good. He is good.
He's going to get cooked, though. I'll put this on wax right now. He's going to get cooked in either the divisional round or the conference championship, where it cost them the. Even though I have them to go to the Super Bowl, Cooper DeJean is going to end up ending
your dream.
My Caucasian dream.
That is crazy. Because I'm like imagining it, because I'm like, he's gonna be matched up on St. Brown, and he's gonna give up like that bomb or something.
So you think that he's gonna line up 1-on-1 against St. Brown? Dude, you don't think that Philadelphia will mix things up?
They will. They'll mix things up, but I just think in that moment.
So like percentage-wise, let's say it gets there, right? Let's just say it's Philly and Detroit at the NFC Championship game, however that lines up. Do you think that DeJean is going to cover him 75% of the time? Yeah. Tony said, Tony said, "What's going on in here?" we talking about the Eagles, dog. You better sit tight.
I would say 75% because I keep forgetting that Mitchell he'll play the outside, and that's where Williams will be at. Jameson Williams will be there, and that's where
he's gonna be. Dude, the only route that he knows is nines.
Oh no, he has developed himself as a route runner. I'll say that, because too many teams are worried about his speed, like running to that outside, and I'm just like, when they're bailing, that's where that post could come in at, the dig routes. He could run a little good stop route. So That's
So,
where, like I said,
as somebody who exclusively watches Bills games and I try to watch everything else, what I've seen from Jameson Williams is that I don't think that he's a great. I was too hyperbolic in saying that he only runs nines, right? I think I was over the top on that one. But because of the speed, I still don't think he's a great route runner. I think
yeah,
that when you look at things like when you have Gibbs who can get out, especially when you can put him on the same side, right?
yep,
You have to account for him and Laporta going over the middle on these digs or whatever.
yep.
I think that it kind of masks how good of a route runner he can be, but I don't consider Jameson Williams to be a great wide receiver. I think he's fast as hell, and if you have the right matchups and the right people who to distract other wide or other DBs, it makes him look better. But I don't think at all that he's anywhere
He's not
close to
he's
being
not
a top
great.
wide receiver.
No, he's not a top wide receiver, but by him being on the outside, he can occupy Mitchell. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
So that's where DeJean will be matched up on St. Brown, and who's not to say it's a crunch time moment or something like that. And that's the matchup that Goff chooses to go to. I mean, to be
Do you,
honest, 9 out of 10, I will probably do the same thing.
so do you think going forward, um, I've said we're going to hang this up so many times, and I don't want to hang it. All right, we got 6 minutes, and then we're done. We got 6 minutes, and we're done. If you were the Eagles playing the Lions, would you man up Cooper DeJean against Amon St. Brown 100% of the time and don't worry about zone, don't worry about anything? Would you match him up to him, or is there anybody that what is your thought process to eliminate Amon St. Brown? And even if you do, does that mean it's a good thought process?
In
Because the
my
run
opinion,
game's so good, the offensive line's so good. What would you do in the moment if it's Eagles versus Lions?
try to mix coverages. You gotta give St. Brown, you gotta give Goff multiple looks. This is my thing, man. As a quarterback, don't give me certain looks because then I'm gonna start getting a feel for you. If you give me the same looks over and over, like disguise your coverages, mix them up, mix up your blitzes or whatnot, but don't give, especially a guy like Goff who depends on timing so much. Like play some man, you can play some zone, but when you play the zone, mix it up. Don't just show two and then run a cover four. You can show two, but run a three. Knock that timing off, man. That's why, like, if St. Brown is in the slot, try to play him inside out.
The thing is, like, as somebody who's never played the position the way that you have, I want to talk like I know, but I don't know. So I'm going to trust your your expertise on this. But when I'm looking at everything in its entirety, if it gets to the point of, and I know the thing that I put in your lap was, what do you do with St. Brown? But I think that you know as well as I do that the trenches really do matter, especially in playoff football. But
Mm-hmm.
this is why I said, like, it's actually better if Philadelphia would have had home field advantage because they got, like, Detroit has so much speed.
Especially on the inside track like that.
Right. So it's like it's almost better if you had just Saquon, just beating the hell out of people on the interior. I just don't know, man. Like I do think that it's going to be the NFC to me is. I feel like the AFC has the better quarterbacks and most likely is going to have the Super Bowl winner. but the NFC has better parity. Like it's going
Yeah.
to produce better games.
This is my thinking, and I told my friends this yesterday. I truly believe whoever wins between the Packers and Eagles today, that team will make it to the NFC Championship game.
That's
And
not good enough. That's not hot
no,
taking.
no. If the Packers somehow make it and they play the Lions, either team can make it. Either team can make it there and beat Detroit, because I'm calling now. Detroit is going to make the NFC Championship game.
It seems pretty.
Yeah. So I'm saying fuck it. Whoever wins today's game is making the Super Bowl out of the NFC.
Whoever wins the Eagles and Packers game?
Yes, whoever makes it up out of that game
makes it to the Super Bowl.
Makes it to the Super Bowl. You can put that on the record.
Look, this is not going to go in the podcast because I don't have enough space on my computer to download our visual, but it is on wax because there are people here. Tony, look, Tony.
Is he cussing you out?
No, he's not cussing you out. He's doing the whole looky emoji, and he's on recognized right now. The Eagles fan, Uncle Philadelphia, is saying, "Oh, word."
Yeah.
My preseason favorite was the Eagles to begin with. I never had the Packers anywhere close to being it. It was Eagles and like maybe Lions.
Niners.
Yeah, the Niners. Yeah, exactly. I had the Eagles, Niners, Lions were like third, fourth. I thought the Eagles were going to be somebody who would have a bounce back year and do this. But I'm also 0-2 in this postseason so far.
No.
So what the hell do I know?
You got to keep going with your picks, man. Make your picks heard, bro. Nobody's going to hit 100%.
No, I know, but I'm not. I usually hit about 70, but I'm 0-2 in the postseason, and people are going to doubt me, and I don't want to be a sad podcaster.
Don't doubt yourself, bro. Don't doubt yourself.
I made money the entire NFL season, so I'm not worried about it. Anyway, I'll let you get back to it, LaShawn.
Bro, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
As always, man. Thanks for you as well. Tony, don't worry about it, man. Dude, he's so angry.
He gonna cuss me out.
Well, so before we leave, because I have to put this into the universe, I have been trying. Okay, so I told him I have my credit card and my debit card. Like people trying to buy things off of me right before Christmas. And I had the same debit card and everything. Like what I paid you, CR, doesn't matter. Like if we do the trivia thing, I've always paid it that way. And when that got stolen, I forgot that it wasn't a thing anymore. And I've been trying relentlessly for the last 2 days to get my together to be able to pay this man $10 for a wager that didn't even hit. I'm trying relentlessly. I'm willing to go to my credit union and write a cashier's check and ask him for his own personal address just to pay him $10 because I hate the fact that I have something that I haven't paid to somebody who I love dearly. And he said, Tony's in here. He goes, it's all good. It's not all good, man. I am hurting myself inside. I want to make things right.
Hey, you'll make it right, bro.
Look, I swear to God, man, like you're so cool about everything. Like everything about you is like, it's all right, man. You'll figure it out.
No, hey, listen. Bad things happen to good people sometimes. Just don't let it weigh you down. Don't let it bring you down. That's the way I live now.
No, and I get that, but the problem is like it happened to me, which directly affects somebody else. Because I gave him betting advice, and it didn't hit, I owe him money. Like I owe this dude money based on what I thought would hit. Yes, it's only $10, but man, it's a me thing. I have to pay this man right now, and I can't, and it hurts me inside.
You feel guilty. Yeah, that's understandable.
I feel
man.
guilty as dude. I'm sorry that Tony, I'm gonna fly you out to Alaska.
Whew.
He's like, don't, please don't.
It has to be up over the summer.
Yeah, he's like, no, we're not doing that. Anyway, you guys enjoy the rest of the Sunday games. Hope you guys make some money. It's profitable. Tony, I swear to God, I don't know how many is $10 to you, but I will. Love you guys. Stay up, stay blessed. Thanks, LaShawn. I appreciate your time, bud.
Hey, thank you, bro.